Eat, Pray, Asia. Towards Digital Nomadism, Part 4. To keep up where we left off, you can revisit the previous video linked below. To sum it up briefly, I had shared my decision to return to Italy after a month in Cape Verde, and how things began to go smoothly. And precisely because everything was going so well, I no longer felt a burning desire to flee. After all, I knew that I wouldn't stay in Italy indefinitely. It was for this reason that I was able to fully enjoy the present moment. Professionally, I had begun collaborating with various agencies where I provided my interpreting services. Almost suddenly, I found myself offering my services not only in Italy, but also for conferences across Europe. The more I worked, the more work came in. I had moved from offering interpreting services to also providing translations, proofreading, and other linguistic services, including voiceover work. Until then, I wasn't aware that my voice was appreciated to such an extent. In short, I was truly entering a virtuous cycle. Park, it's time. One summer evening, while at a barbecue at a friend's house, one of them asked if I had any travel plans. Surprised by my negative answer, I realized that I was so filled with this surge of professional novelty that I hadn't totally planned any trips. However, that question sparked a light in me. I told myself that this trip couldn't be just a vacation. It was time to embark on that one-way flight I had longed for. I opened my beloved skyscanner.com, set the destination to anywhere, and selected the month of October to continue summer once it was over in Europe. Soon after seeing the cheapest flights to European capitals, I found a 200 flight to Phuket, Thailand. Once again, just like with Cape Verde, I could hardly believe it. I quickly went to Airbnb.com to get an idea of accommodation prices and found a villa for 270 euros per month. Incredible. But despite the strong temptation to enter my credit card details to make the booking, I set aside my impulsiveness and pondered this decision throughout the night. Those hours were a whirlwind of excitement, fears, gratitude, and certainties. The prevailing fear was losing everything I had built. I had found clients and established relationships. My network was expanding rapidly beyond Italian borders, and in a few months I had started offering my linguistic services across Europe. Could I really lose these assets? And once I was on the other side of the world, would I be starting from scratch? And what about the VAT? How does taxation work if I'm not in Italy? All these questions were legitimate and generated by my mind, but soon the heart found answers, opening the doors to my soon-to-be digital nomad life. I didn't hesitate any longer, and the next day I booked my first month in the tropics. Preparations begin. Now it was definitive. My one-way flight was scheduled for October 5th, 2022, so I had 2 more months to prepare both mentally and professionally to ensure this drastic change would happen as smoothly as possible. I announced my decision to the clients I was working with, explaining that it wouldn't be a farewell, but a change in modus operandi. What better historical period to make such a transition without losing trusted clients? Technology can allow all these, and remote conferences can enable me to interpret for Europe from Asia. My clients kindly accepted my request, so I continued to interpret both in person and remotely. As soon as I arrived in Asia, I had to give up in-person assignments, but continued with RSI, remote simultaneous interpreting. I began collaborating with additional agencies to fill the gap left by the absence of in-person assignments, and intensified collaboration with written translation agencies because, as I mentioned in the previous article, Off to Cape Verde and Back, a super silent room and a stable connection with a physical router for connecting with an Ethernet cable are only some of the prerequisites for offering interpreting services. And if I want to move from country to country continuously, these conditions cannot always be guaranteed. On the other hand, working as a translator would fit perfectly with this lifestyle. CAT, computer-assisted translation tools, even work offline. Therefore, you only need a connection when downloading documents and uploading translations. An excellent alternative. Given that the first month in Phuket went perfectly, I decided to start my true digital nomad life. Backpack on, changing locations frequently to visit as much as possible. In short, a life on the road. Global life experiences. As I write this article, I'm in a hotel in Laos and it's March 25th, 2023, so I've been traveling for 6 months. During this time, I've visited almost all the countries in Southeast Asia. Starting from Singapore and Thailand, I began a clockwise journey to Cambodia, then made a brief stop outside Southeast Asia to visit Taiwan, returned to Vietnam, from which I departed for Borneo, visiting first Brunei, don't ask me why, and then the Malaysian part. From there I reached mainland Malaysia, went back up to Thailand, and now, as mentioned, I'm in Laos. During these travels, I had the opportunity to meet many people from diverse backgrounds, fellow nomads like me, or those who wanted to try nomadism to see how it would go. Everyone eventually opted for this lifestyle, by the way. People simply on vacation and locals. Countless souls ready to give and receive. During this time I began and ended a romantic relationship in Thailand, watched the sunset over the city of temples in Cambodia, ordered food in Chinese in Taipei, prayed in mosques in the Sultanate of Brunei Darussalam, the abode of peace, swam with turtles in Borneo, was the first foreigner with whom a Tamil boy had ever had a conversation with in Malaysia, saw rice fields in Laos from a hot air balloon, and much more. In short, I have lived and I am living fully the gift of life. Soon I will slowly move closer to Europe to continue living this eternal summer. But that doesn't mean my digital nomad life will diminish. On the contrary, these 6 months have only marked the beginning of what I believe will be a great chapter in my life. Moving closer to home is just an opportunity to show both myself and you that digital nomadism is a state of being. And for this reason, there's no need for the tropics or Latin America to savor all the advantages this lifestyle offers. Thank you for watching.